This is going to be a pretty quick video just covering the story of what could potentially be the very first Pokemon card ever printed by Wizards of the Coast. In 1998, Nintendo reached out to Wizards of the Coast in order to do a collaboration to get Pokemon cards printed in English for a North American release. And, of course, Wizards of the Coast accepted because we got the first edition base set packs in 1999. Between those two time points, Wizards was hard at work translating every single Pokemon card and reformatting each card to accommodate the lengthier English text and placing it in a way that was as easy to read as possible. In 2016, this image of a Blastoise card was pasted to an MTG Facebook group by James Burton, who's pretty well known in that community. He had 2 copies of this Blastoise card, which was later confirmed to be legit from the ex-Wizards of the Coast employee that he got them from. And you'll notice some pretty key tells that this was a prototype card, such as saying stack this card on a monster card. The stack is a very Magic the Gathering term. The font on the HP is a little different. It was still called a special power rather than a Pokemon power. Various fonts and placements all over the body of the card are quite different from what we know now. The retreat cost was still called an escape cost, and then the stats list Blastoise as only being 2 feet tall, and the Pokedex entry being a bit of a rough translation. I found it interesting that Wizards had used the Ken Sugimori Blastoise artwork from the Japanese promo Blastoise rather than the already established Japanese base set Blastoise. You're probably wondering why I'm not talking about the black borders or the flat holofoil that's on this card that differs so differently than the final product Blastoise that we all know. So let's jump ahead to July of 2019, where Zachariah Maples was looking through a storage unit in an old gaming store in Seattle, where Wizards of the Coast used to be based, and found another copy of one of these Blastoise. So Zachariah Maples gets in contact with an ex-Wizards of the Coast employee named Chris Nitz. And Chris Nitz was a top setter for Wizards of the Coast that worked on Pokemon cards pretty much the entire time that Wizards of the Coast held the license. Nitz was able to confirm that the Blastoise was indeed legit because he himself had a printed uncut sheet of Magic the Gathering cards that included this very holofoil Blastoise. Which leads me to my final unrevealed aspect of these Blastoise cards, in that the backs are the same as a Magic the Gathering card. The card stock, the card size, the back of the card are all that of a Magic the Gathering card. So this was, for all intents and purposes, just a Magic card with a Blastoise mask on the front. With the reveal of the uncut Blastoise that Chris Nitz still have, we now know that there are at least 4 copies of this card out in the world, and it was confirmed by Chris Nitz that this was the very first holofoil Pokemon card ever printed by Wizards of the Coast. That brings us to 2020, and the reason that I'm making this video, and that is because a new Prototype Blastoise has been uncovered. This one has the Galaxy Star holofoil pattern that would become the staple for Wizards of the Coast holofoils from base to fossil. It also has the Wizards of the Coast staple yellow border. This version of Blastoise is the one that was given to the Wizards of the Coast PR team. They would take this around and show to shops to promote the launch of Pokemon cards in North America, and this was also the version that the media had access to. Since this is presumably one of the final prototypes for a Blastoise card, it's interesting that this one does include the shadow behind the art box, which the first edition finalized Blastoise does not have. You collectors out there will know that shadow versus shadowless is a very key distinction to make when valuing these cards. Wizards would later return to that shadowy frame format for their cards for their unlimited print runs. A few of these prototypes have been officially CGC graded, so if you want to know more about the individual cards themselves, There is a more detailed article on the CGC website that I will link in the description. Thanks for stopping by and listening to this juicy little tale about the early days of the Pokemon TCG in North America. You know I love anything related to the early days of Wizards of the Coast and Pokemon here on the channel. If this is the first time on my channel, go ahead and check out all my other content because I have a ton more stuff about vintage Pokemon TCG. If you've got any more details that you want to add to this story, go ahead and chuck those down in the comments too. I'd love to read through those. Until next video, bye!